Hello guys, I am Digi Horizon, and that is the third name change in 3 days. In 3 videos, rather. Just trying to find a name that fits. But aside from that, I am in Planetbase. So in this game, your aim is to build a colony, and make sure it survives. That's a lot harder than it sounds. So, before we do anything, I'll just jump into a class O, which is the easiest type to do. Call it Gamma 5 for no particular reason. And so this planet here is a class D, and it's the easiest planet to do because it has very few meteors and solar flares and has high light amount and atmosphere density, which means that the solar panels and wind turbines, which are used to create power, work very well. So we'll just start, and it has far faster loading times than I expected. But come down in this pod, and it's a lot larger than it first seems from this view. Okay, so there's no way, in fact, to skip this cutscene. I'm pressing every button on the keyboard, and nothing's showing up. And we start off with 2 biologists, 3 workers, an engineer, and a medic, as well as a carrier bot and a constructor bot. So the first thing we'll have to put down is an O2 producer, oxygen generator, and then an airlock, so our people can get in and survive. Now, over this side, I'm going to start by putting up the materials that we need to survive. But since the colony ship's in the way, partially, I'll just recycle it, so we've just got a big pile of materials there. Then, on one side, I'll put the water extractor, and on the other, I'll go into this and put solar panels. I'll just put down 2 of them to make sure I have enough power. Hooking those up. So this game has an ingenious creation system where all of your base has to be linked up to each other with various connections, and the connections are glass tubes for interior pieces, and just these catwalks for exterior sections. Of course, there is a speed up button there, and that was the most important part done, because O2 is the killer to begin with, because if you don't have enough oxygen, your people are going to die, no question about it. And I'll have to build out in this direction. So there's a couple things you want to put down to begin with. Firstly, you want a mine there, so as to allow you to produce ore, which you'll refine into metal, and also a biodome, which will create both where was that? There we go. The biodome will produce food and starch, which you turn into bioplastic. So I shall get a biodome. In fact, I'll first put up a storage here, and then put the biodome next to it. So I chose a large biodome, so I have space to expand later, because I found with all the bases I've done before this, food has been a massive problem, and then this processing plant allows me to refine starch and ore into usable materials. Then, after that, I'll want a canteen so my people can actually eat, and then off that, we'll have a dormitory. Now, the important thing about these is they're one way, so I can't extend anything off of that now, because that's there. And that's the same with this bay here. Which is why I'm putting them over in the corner, because I'm not really cutting anything off there. Now, just gotta wait for this to be built, and hope my people don't die. So I do very much enjoy just watching these things get built up over time. My people are starting to have low O2, so they should at least just run inside. And that's the storage, so I can't put anything in there. But this biodome, I can select that button, and we'll want to put just a couple things down to help my people grow. To begin with, I'm going to put mushrooms down, because they have very low maintenance, and I have very few biologists. But the first thing I'm going to do, once I've got this set up and become self-sufficient, is get a landing pad and get more biologists. That is incredibly important, because when you have more biologists, you create more food, and people will actually survive. Excuse me. And now we want meal makers, so people can eat, and water fountains so that they can drink. Then off in the dorm, just drop in 2 beds. Put them as close together, so I don't have to build any more later. Next, in the processing plant, since it's a relatively small base to begin with, just one of each of these. So the bioplastic processor turns starch into bioplastics, and the metal processor turns ores into metal. Alright, and as you can see there, I just got hit by meteors. So that's fairly uncommon on this planet, but on other planets it's a lot more common and therefore a lot more dangerous. So on other planets you'll need to set up a control center immediately and have anti-meteor lasers, but I don't really need to do that just yet for this planet. So our med bay has been built, so we just put 2 beds in here, and a cabinet. Then in this room, we'll put a TV to increase happiness slightly. And I'll just let that get built. Alright, and as you see there, what just happened was it was nighttime, and my one power collector couldn't store up enough to provide for the whole base, so the base ran out of power. Luckily that doesn't affect too much at the moment. And now I want a medical bay coming off of here. So if you've noticed, the way I'm doing it using this at the moment is I'm having a hub-based system, and so this is the storage depot, and it means that these will be able to get resources from the depot and put resources into the depot as fast as possible, so there's very little delay. And often I built the storage later, so people had to walk miles to get to where they wanted. But that is pretty much all I need to build for the moment. And that's the lab built. Don't want to put too much in there for the moment. Just a lab to make medical supplies. Good, we've got our first ore in, so so we can start producing metal. And if we check our milestones, we are self-sufficient. Yay for us. So, first things first, we need to add another power collector in here to ensure that we can actually survive through the night. And then, after that, our next task is to place down a landing pad. We're out of power again. So when you're out of power, there's really not much you can do. Just have to really sit here and wait. So you can see our people are getting rather unhappy. Obviously, with the constant power outages. So most of our resources are tasked with bringing this inside, because resources, when they're just out on the ground, slowly decay, and so they have to be inside a storage to ensure that they don't decay. Right. So, now we play the waiting game. In fact, no we don't. We get some wind turbines in here, so we can get a source of power during the night. And after this, I want to build a landing pad, and then a control center a little later on, just to ensure that none of my people die to meteorites. Because one time I was starting up, and a meteorite collided with my storage and killed my only medic. That was a bit of an issue. And our constructor bot has been out for the count because they slowly run down, like all the things here. Which is in fact why you need so many biologists, because your sources of food need maintenance a lot. And so I've chosen these plants specifically because they produce food more slowly, but require less maintenance. But when I get a larger population with more people, I'll need to replace these with fast-growing ones, and just have lots of biologists to maintain them. Aside from that, I'd say we're ready to place down our landing pad. In fact, I don't really want that to be there just at the moment, so we can expand with another mine somewhere. I can put a mine there, and I can put a mine somewhere over there. So, landing pad, there's a viable option. And so when they build that, we'll start getting colonists in, and those colonists will help us survive by bringing in new people. Of course, you can choose what type of people you want to come in, because each person is specialized, and specialists can only do certain jobs. So I'm going to set it straight away, so that I only want biologists, because then I'll be able to expand food production and pave the way for more people to come in. Because food has always been the issue for me. Alright, that's that, so I think we should time-lapse this for a bit to see how it grows, and then I'll show you a colony that I've been working on before, and that'll be a good example of how not to do things, because almost everyone in there is dying of starvation. Anyhow, so sit back and enjoy the music, because it's pretty good. Since it's a standstorm, what I can do now that I have the security controls is I can set it to yellow alert, so it puts that annoying thing on the screen, but all of my people will stay inside and therefore not be at risk from any from getting blown away, in essence. Well, hello again, and I'd say this is a pretty good place to finish up this episode. So, our base is thriving nicely. We have 2 oxygen generators, here and here. A guard room, where they can monitor, where the guards can monitor security, and the telescope that's getting built, that's going to be built there. Then over here we have our spares workshops and semiconductor foundry, as well as our processors. The absolutely giant storage, which is full to bursting at the moment. Little lab. Our gigantic biodome. And the dormitory, the canteen, and the sick bay. So, just before we quit, I'll put in a lot more beds, because I've just realised we have 27 people and 4 beds. As well as another sick bay in there, just to finish off that room. And I'll need to rather scrap that structure so I can get another table in there and our water fountain there. So, next episode will be, because I figure it's a nice thing to turn into a series. Next episode we'll be expanding the base, adding in anti-meteorite defences, and hopefully building a starport. But that is all for now. I am Digi Horizons, and I will see you all next time. Thank you for watching.